For me, he was the most talented player ever because, he was so magic with his lefty, and he had a magic touch, and he did something I never saw after, and probably in my life I will never see again.
And welcome to a special edition of the No Choftes podcast on the OLB. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, tell your NOUNA. Now, this is a very special edition because you guys know that in the past we've had some world-class players. We've had Elias that won the UEFA Cup with Inter Milan. We had Matt Derbyshire, Freddie, you name it. We've had a whole heap of Omonoia legends, but we have right here a legend in the game, a World Cup winner nonetheless. Thomas Berthold, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome.
How are you doing?
Good afternoon. I'm fine, thank you. I'm still in Frankfurt. I'm not in Italy.
Lovely. How's the weather? How's the weather in Frankfurt?
The weather is not very good. We had a very strange July. It was raining a lot and windy. Not really summertime. Now it looks like that. Now it's starting the summertime because the forecast is pretty well. Starting tomorrow, having 25, 26, 27 degrees. So
that's good. That's
getting better.
Yeah, you can go outside and have your beer outside instead of inside, I guess.
Of course. But in Frankfurt, we are drinking Appleboy.
Oh, okay.
What is Appleboy?
Okay,
it's something like a bitter
cider.
A bitter cider.
Mm-hmm.
Produced with apple.
Very nice.
Yeah, very nice here.
Sounds good. Well, I'll tell you, let's talk about Frankfurt because that's where you are at the moment, and you were in the academy at the time. Now, as you're probably aware, there are two Cypriot players in the Frankfurt's academy at the moment, and they both left Omonoia to join Frankfurt. What can you tell us about the academy from what you remember and what you know about it now?
Look, when I played in the academy, I think Frankfurt was on the top of Germany. I did win the competition in under 16 and also under 17 in Germany. So twice we won the title with the junior teams. Now I guess it's more a bit that clubs like Leipzig and Bayern Munich, Hoffenheim, Freiburg, they are maybe a bit forward. They did invest a lot in the past 10 years, developing infrastructure, coaches, and all that stuff. So. And the worst thing is for Frankfurt that they lost the second team. As you know, in Germany, most of the first and second division teams they run a second team playing in the third or fourth league in Germany, because you can only have one professional team in the first or second league, but the maximum for the second team is the third league. But the third league is very competitive. So Frankfurt does not have a second team, and that's unfortunately it's a mess for them, because without playing, when you're leaving the junior teams, you can do a loan, but I think it's a disadvantage.
Was that the same when you were playing?
No. When I did play, we had a second team in the third division.
In third division, right? In
the third division. But playing on top level,
right?
So always staying second, third place, in the table.
What do you make of the current situation in Germany anyway? Because we've seen a lot of British players and American players going to play in the Bundesliga. We've seen Bellingham, we've seen Jadon Sancho. Is that affecting the national team? Because it wasn't a great European Championship. Obviously, Jogi Löw.
It wasn't great. You're very gentle.
Well, I'm trying to be nice here. I'm trying to be nice.
It was a disaster. Let's say that it was really a disaster. No, but you're right. Especially Dortmund is scouting very well in UK, and they got Sancho was now sold to Man United, and he did great in Dortmund, and also Bellingham supposed to have really a big potential, to be a great player for the future. I don't know why the junior teams are not developing German players to be ready to play in the first division. I think, when you're fishing your career in the junior teams, having 17, 18, 19 years, the let's say the skip from junior to Bundesliga, it's tough.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's tough.
But the thing is, with German football, in terms of the national team, it goes through cycles, doesn't it? Where you have a great group of players that are successful, and then once that age group goes, it's pretty poor. I'll give you an example. Like 1974, they won the World Cup. 78, don't know what happened there. 82 did pretty well. 84 Euros wasn't great, but then 86, the World Cup in Mexico, which you were there. Got to the final. Okay, you lost in the final, but it was a very, very good team. And don't forget, there were a lot of injuries as well. And I think there was an issue with Schuster, if I'm not mistaken. And, Mr. Beckenbauer came in. So it's almost as if the odds were stacked against Germany for that tournament.
You're always depending on the ages and the generations, For every big football nation, you need potential players being able to play on a world-class level. Because the head coach is not a magic person, to do something special wonders. There are no wonders in football. It's all about options and having quality on the pitch. So I believe coming back to '86 when I did play my first World Cup, we were a bit a surprising team, because normally the people did not give a lot of credential to the '86 national team, but at least we did well, because we did show character and team spirit, and we reached the final, and it was a pretty good final against Argentina, losing at the end 3-2. But we performed as team well, and now you could see also in the Euro in 2021. Italy won, not maybe because they had the best single players, but the team performance was very well. The spirit was very well, the mentality was great, and they were tactically well prepared. So it's always a mix, If you want to win a big tournament like Euro or World Cup, you need, of course, quality players, but you need as well also team spirit and a team very well prepared tactically.
Absolutely. So can you tell me what the mood of the national team was going into that tournament in '86? As I said, Beckenbauer got the job. He was a world-class footballer. Was he great as a coach, as a mentor?
If you are coaching the national team, the senior team, I guess the most important is the acceptance of the players. And being also a world-class player, it was easier for Franz Beckenbauer to get that kind of acceptance, because at least you have not to teach somebody or to do some lessons with that kind of players. At least is what is important. You have to create a group, and you have to have some tactical options on the pitch. That's it. Not so complicated, with a regular team, playing every week once or twice is more complicated. But for a tournament, you have to be focused on the tournament. We did not really great against Uruguay. First match, a draw, 1-1. But we improved during the tournament, and we physically were very well prepared.
So you get to the final and you're playing Argentina with Maradona, who had a fantastic tournament. He destroyed England, and they're still crying about it now. Oops. So you're in the final. You're 2-0 down. You scored twice in the last 15-20 minutes, and you're thinking maybe we might have extra time. And then they got the other end and score the winner. How was that for you guys? Obviously, it must have been soul destroying, because it's a World Cup final.
Look, it was not so destroying. As you said, 2-0 for Argentina, but we came back. We scored 2 goals, and maybe we had in our mind 7 minutes to go, and the momentum was on our side, and on all the guys were maybe too overexcited, because, as you said, normally with that kind of experience we had in the team, we have to say, okay, listen, guys, now it's 2-2, 7 minutes to go. Let's go to overtime, because mentally and physically, after the second goal, Argentina was more or less dead. But then Magic Diego did one great action in the whole match, and he did that magic pass to Burruchaga, and we played a bit offside because normally we never played offside, you know. And they scored the third goal, and the match was gone then, more or less.
Was there a game plan to stop Maradona? As I said before, that was the tournament of his life.
Of course, there was a game. There was a game plan.
Kick him. Was it kick him?
No. Lothar Matthaus played against Maradona, and I don't know if you remember the whole match, but maybe if you have the opportunity to watch the 90 minutes, Diego had just one action, that magic touch to Burruchaga. In the whole match, he was neutralized by Lothar Matthaus, more or less.
Yeah, and you know, Lothar Matthaus, he and Klaus Augenthaler were my two favorite players in that era. Even now, when people talk to me about central midfielders, you can talk about your Xavis, your Iniestas, your Zidans, etc., etc. But you've got players that are very underrated, even though they achieved so many great things. And Lothar Matthaus was up there. I've still got this. I'm going to show you one day when I go to my mum's house. I'm going to find the figurine I've got, and I'm going to send you a picture. It's a little figurine. It's about this big, and it's Lothar Matthaus volleying the ball. I got it when I was a kid, but I've still got it. Still got the West Germany shirt with the stripes. But talk to me about Klaus Augenthaler, by the way, because my cousin was a strong admirer of him, as am I. The guy had a thunderbolt of a shot, didn't he? 35, 40 yards. He would smash it. Yeah.
Unbelievable, as you said, unbelievable shot, and also unbelievable overview of the pitch. You know, he was a typical libero. In those days, we played with libero. It's now nobody's playing anymore with libero.
Like a sweeper, isn't it? Kind of.
Yeah, sweeper, something like this. Yeah, sweeper, as you said, and he had a great view of the pitch, because I mean, football is starting always in the defense. When you get the ball, you know, we have to open the match. You have to be able to pass, let's say 30, 45 meters. And he was able to do that. Yeah. And he was also a great header, and he was not maybe such fast and quick, you know, but 1 against 1, he was also a very tough defender. So let's say complete sweeper, more or less.
Absolutely. And you know what, you've won a World Cup, as we're going to talk about in just a moment. But between, say, 86 to 91, you were in one of the most incredible eras of football. And I was just thinking about it earlier, and I was talking to Mum on the phone. I was like, my goodness, this guy has played not only just against Maradona, he's played in Serie A when it was at the height, at the peak, when you had the 3 Dutchmen at Milan, you had the 3 Germans at Inter, you were at AS Roma with Rudi Voller.
Yeah,
you know, let's not talk about Napoli with Maradona. I mean, for crying out loud, you went to Roma. Now, this is a club that last won the Scudetto in what, 83? So was there pressure for you guys to win that Scudetto again, given that you had so much, right? I mean, you had Juve as well with the Rui Barros.
I think Rome is the worst place for any football player, because it's the capital of the country, you know, 2 clubs, Lazio and AS Roma, and most pressure you can imagine. So playing in Rome was fantastic, because, as you said, Serie A was the best league in the world. I mean, the big clubs, they won the international competition. The biggest stars did play in Italy. It was a fantastic time. Now, after 30 years, the Premier League and the Spanish League, they passed the Serie A. But I'm very positive, because getting now international investors, I believe that Serie A will come back maybe to reach the peak again.
Well, I'd hope so, because it's the television money that makes the league stronger, isn't it? And the Premier League is obviously on a different stratosphere. And with Messi going to Paris Saint-Germain, obviously there's going to be more money into that league. Whereas you see the likes of the Bundesliga and Serie A falling back a little bit. Internazionale are losing a lot of players. Lukaku's going, Lautaro's probably going to go. Conte left. Okay, Juve have got Allegri back in, so Cristiano is going to be there, etc. So it's going to be very difficult to get back there. But your old club, Roma, have got Mourinho. So
in Serie A, a lot of movements on the bench. You know, a lot of managers coming in, and a lot of clubs did change the manager. But the transfer market is very quiet. Yeah, because the money is in England. You know, in UK, the clubs are investing, and maybe we after let's say Lukaku and the big transfers made in UK, maybe we get some reactions in Italy, also in Germany, because in Germany now in that period, because on Friday this the Bundesliga starting, we have more business like loan with an option to buy, but not really a transfer,
Absolutely. Well, I want to talk about one specific season in Serie A, the one that Napoli won. I think you guys finished 10th in the table, if I'm not mistaken, something along those lines. I've seen a lot of highlights. I remember, again, I went to Cyprus, and down by the tourist area, you could buy VHS videos, for like £2-3 at the time. And I bought one. It was all the Italian goals. So you had like Ramon Diaz and Careca and all these other players. But Maradona was the guy that was scoring goals left, right, and center. You played against him at international level. You played against him at club level. You've probably been asked this question 1,000,001 times. But as a footballer, was he the best you've ever played against?
I think for me, that's my personal opinion, he was the best ever
Ever
on that planet, And playing for Napoli, you mentioned Careca, they had really great team, Cannavale, and with Maradona, it was a magic triangle, But also the defense was great. They had a fantastic team, and playing in Sao Paulo, 80,000 people. The magic crowd there, You can imagine Derby, Roma, Napoli. what's going on in those days. It was unforgettable experience.
And
but he was for me, he was the most talented player ever, because he was so magic with lefty, and he had a magic touch, and he did something I never saw after, and probably in my life I will never see again.
Did you see the documentary about his life?
I did see the documentary, and about his life, and we met in Russia for the World Cup, because FIFA did create a Legends Club, so we met, and I was saying to my wife, oh, he looks not very, very healthy 3 years ago. And now, what happened is a tragedy.
Yeah. My friend is Fede Ardiles, Ozzy's son. And he and I spoke regularly about Diego, even before he died. And when he passed, I didn't know what to say to him, because he knew him. It's very, very difficult to talk about. But when you were playing at Roma, sorry to talk about Diego again, but when you were playing at Roma, did you hear about the stories relating to Maradona off the field? Was it common knowledge?
Look, there are always stories around, especially in Italy, with all that paparazzi stuff and left and right and up and down. But who cares? It's part of the job. So Diego was magic on the pitch. Doesn't matter if he was maybe not training, or maybe also flying from Buenos Aires to Napoli the day before the match. But he was a great performer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is the most important thing. If you do perform well, the rest is not so important.
This is it. Now, I'm going to mention some rivals here. The three Dutchmen at Milan.
Yes.
Rijkaard, Van Basten, and Gullit. You guys were back and forth in '88. I remember the European Championships.
Yeah.
Obviously in the Scudetto, and then Italia '90. Now that was the first World Cup I could remember as if it was yesterday. I remember the opening game when Cameroon beat Argentina. Can he just shoot coming off because he was challenged? Everything in that tournament, but Germany were my team that I supported in that tournament. I told you before, my cousin bought me the shirt, so I was supporting them. And you steamrolled against Yugoslavia. You steamrolled UAE. Okay, you drew against Colombia. There was a few tricky games, but then came England.
And before came Holland, Dutch.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to touch on first before the England game. And that game for me, there was Bremer's goal with right foot, the curler. It was at the San Siro as well, which is the stadium that he played for Inter. And then there was the incident between Rudi Voller and Frank Rijkaard. Now, I'll never forget this, because I was watching at home. I was 9 years old. Then my mum was ironing, and she turned, she looked, she goes, "Did he just spit at him?" I was like, wow, what's going on here? I don't know. So you were on the pitch. What do you remember about that specific incident? Because all I remember is seeing Rudi Voller doing this. What the?
Yeah, I think Frank Rijkaard, who is a very gentle person, had a bad moment. He did spell, the Rudi Voller in his neck. And
why would he do that? Was there a reason?
I don't know. Maybe he lost his mind. I don't know. The pressure, whatever. It's difficult to explain why a very experienced player like Frank Rijkaard is having that kind of behavior. But Germany, Netherlands is always something special. It's like a derby. We are neighbors, and it's always it's. How can I explain this? I remember when we played the qualification in Netherlands, in Rotterdam, we got a police call at 1 in the night, 1 a.m. in the morning, to leave immediately the hotel because some people, I don't know, try to break in the hotel, and all that shit,
Well, Rotterdam's probably the worst place to have a game because their fans are different level. I know Amsterdam and Eindhoven are bad, but Rotterdam are
but the national team is always plays in Rotterdam,
Yeah.
And you can imagine qualification match Netherlands Germany in Rotterdam with the heat on the pitch, outside of the pitch, with all these dramas, and then the World Cup, meeting in Milano. It was the only match for Germany. Because we played the first round, we played Netherlands, and we played also Czechoslovakia in Milano. Yep. It was the only match in San Siro where we had equal fans.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, 50-50. So the atmosphere was like in a derby. Yeah. So and then shooting 2 goals, leading 2-0, and then they shot the penalty, 2-1. Yeah, Koeman, and he also Koeman, he did something with a shirt. I remember, versus the German fans and the Rijkaard. It was so much on the pitch, outside of the pitch, dramas and rivalry between the two nations. But but at the end, we did beat the European champion, and we did beat the former world champion in the final. So yes. I think at least if you beat the 2 biggest teams, winning the two most important tournaments before that World Cup, we deserve to.
Oh, 100%, 100%. That game against the Dutch, for me, that was when I said they're definitely going to win this tournament because, as you said, the Dutch were the European champions. And then the England game in the semi-finals, obviously we know what happened. There was the foul on you by Gascoigne, the yellow card. You've spoken about this millions of times. So I'm not going to ask you about it. But, it's like, they still talk about it to this day. And do you know what I want to ask you? This might be a bit of a touchy subject, but for me, it's really strange, the English press. They're very strange anyway, but the mentality when it comes to games against Germany, because they always reference the war. It's always about the war. They never talk about the game itself before it. It's always about we did this and we won the war. And I'm sitting there thinking, do the Germans actually give a shit about what the British press write? It must make you more motivated to win the game when you see all these headlines? Or is it just common that you're expecting?
As a player, you don't care about the press, the headlines, what the people are thinking, what the press is writing. Nobody cares. At least you are focused on the match. You go to the pitch, and that's it. You do your job, and you want to win the game to reach the final. That's all about.
Yep. And you won on penalties,
it's always a bit tricky, playing after 2 hours overtime, shooting penalties, but it's part of the game, You need kind of cleverness and coolness, and maybe Germany had that mentality, to be also strong, in penalty shooting, which is part of the tournament, penalty shooting.
Oh, absolutely. I remember when Stuart Pearce missed it, and then he got the opportunity at Euro 96, like 6 years later, as a penalty shootout against Spain, and he scored, and everyone was saying, oh, he's exercised the demons of Italia 90. I'm sitting there thinking, no, he hasn't, because he didn't get to the World Cup final. He didn't win it. So
And it's difficult to exercise it because if you exercise it, you know, without pressure, without having 120 minutes in your legs, it's easy. In the training session, it's easy to shoot a penalty. But you know, with the pressure and all the stuff, you are tired after 2 hours, and then you have to wait. You know, it's not so easy. You cannot train these kind of situations.
So, did anyone find the ball when Chris Waddle hit the ball over the bar? I just need to know if anyone found it. You know?
I don't know. Maybe you have to do something like a research. You know,
he left the stadium. I'm pretty sure I left the stadium. So I don't know. Poor Chris, but yeah, he had a good career after that. I can't complain. So you get to the final. It's West Germany against Argentina, Volume 2. 4 years on, a better Germany team. You know, you had the more experienced players, and I think you correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think that the likes of Bremer, Matthaus, yourself, Rudi Voller, learning from 1986, being 4 years older, having that more experience, pushed you over the line. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, you are right. We had a lot of experience, you know, because as you said, a few guys played 86 in Argentina. And maybe the forecast was a bit Italy, Germany for the World Cup, but the Italian, they lost in Napoli against the Argentinian team. But anyway, I mean, a final is a final. And it was not very exciting because Argentina did play without Canija, who was the best striker maybe in 1999. So they were always defending. Maybe to have the strategy to go overtime and to maybe look forward, to reach the penalty shooting. It's a bit rumoring now. Can you hear it?
Yeah, a little bit. Is that you got someone outside on their motorbike?
Yeah.
It happens in London quite a bit. Don't worry about it.
It's fine. So it was not a great final, but I mean, it was a penalty. We can discuss about this penalty, but at the end we deserved because we were the more active team, and our goalkeeper, I think Bodo Ilgner, did not have at least one single action to do something.
Well, the thing is, I remember the semi-final against Italy. They had Rijkaard in goal, didn't they? Because was it Pompidou in goal for the first one, wasn't he? The first game against Cameroon, it was Pompidou, and then they replaced him with Rijkaard, and he saved some penalties in the semi-final. So when Germany got the penalty, a lot of people, the commentators were saying, "Oh, it's Andy Bremer. This goalkeeper saved a lot of penalties." And Bremer took it with his right foot, and he's left-footed. Was he right foot? It was a right foot, wasn't it?
That's a good question. Was he left foot or right foot?
I thought, was he with his left foot or was it right foot?
No, actually, he's left foot.
Yeah, but did he hit it with his right foot or was it the left foot? I can't remember.
Yeah, he did. He did. I think Andy Bremer is the only player in the world where it's difficult to understand if he is natural left or right.
Yeah.
But Rijkaard was a great goalkeeper. I mean,
absolutely,
also, especially for penalty shootings, he was great. And but Andy Bremer was for me the coolest penalty shooter I ever saw in my life.
And you know, again, it goes back to what I said about underrated footballers. These days, people talking about Roberto Carlos, they talk about Ashley Cole, they talk about David Alaba, but Andreas Bremer was just
unbelievable.
Levels.
Yeah, for me, the best left defender in Germany we ever had in the last, I don't know, 40, 50 years, you know. Yeah, you're right.
Unbelievable. You know, I think the closest fullback Germany-wise is probably Philipp Lahm, if you want to talk about quality.
Yeah.
But Bremer was just...
But Andy Bremer was technically better than Philipp Lahm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Now, I want to talk about Lothar Matthaus now. Because again, I remember him at Internazionale when he won the league. He was a juggernaut. He was a juggernaut. He was, even if he played now, he'd be a 50, 60, 70 million euro player. 100%. More. Yeah.
Much
starting
more.
price. Starting price 70 million.
Much more. If Chelsea is paying 120 for Lukaku, I mean,
yes.
Matthaus worth 150 million maybe.
Yeah.
He was a
passing,
complete dynamic, so fast and great right foot. You know, he was a complete midfield player. Really great midfield player. So dynamic. unbelievable.
And to think he came so close to winning the Champions League if it wasn't for Manchester United. And I think a couple of years later, he'd have left. And I think Bayern won the Champions League in Milan, wasn't it? They beat Valencia in the final. I don't think he was playing.
No, I think he did not.
No.
He was on the pitch? No, he was not on the pitch.
No, I think no, he wasn't. No. But okay. Well, I can't not talk about Jurgen Klinsmann then. Another player who just scored goals everywhere. Stuttgart, Monaco, Inter, Tottenham, twice at Tottenham.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about his diving and his cheating, but for me, he had to do it. He had to, because he was being kicked left, right, and centre. They kicked him all over the place.
I mean, that nickname diver is coming from UK. I don't know. Is it a press story? And who invented that name? That is a diver or was a diver. I mean, if you get a tackling, you can also do a diving. As a striker, you can do that.
Of course.
Today, everybody is doing diving.
Yeah.
When I do watch, TV,
it's worse now.
It's worse now. It's much worse now. Much worse. Yeah, you're right. Much worse now. Now everybody's doing diving.
Yeah, that's right. But he was a fantastic footballer, and you know what? Again, he would score goals, header, volley.
This is also a problem we have now in our national team. We don't have strikers anymore. I
don't think anyone has, to be honest.
Strikers.
I don't think anyone has. If you look at the best strikers in the world, you could probably think of 5. You don't have that many anymore.
Yeah, not that many. You're right. Yeah, but this, for a big football nation like Germany, it's a disaster. Without striker, you cannot win a tournament. It's not possible.
Yeah, I guess there was a lot of pressure on Timo Werner to produce.
But he is not we need a real number 9. Somebody who's staying, in the area, the goal area.
Yeah. We look at Germany over the years, as you mentioned. Rudi Voller's one. You've got Klinsmann,
Karl-Heinz Riedle. We got.
Yes.
We got a lot of great people, really.
Bierhoff in the 90s.
Yeah. And now nobody.
Yeah.
Now we have a lot of small players like Timo Werner. Small, quick, but we don't have somebody like Kane, for example. We don't have him.
Yeah. I think Mario Gomez was probably the last one, wasn't he? I'd say Mario Gomez.
Yeah.
But
last. Right.
So come on, let's talk about that World Cup. Then you're world champion. You're a world champion. What are the celebrations like? What was their Kaiser like? What was he saying to you after you won that game, especially after losing the final in '86? What was that like?
I mean, when it's over, it's over. To realize that you won the World Cup, it takes a bit of time. I mean, we got the cup. We went back to the hotel. We had a great party until in the morning. Then we flew back to Frankfurt, next celebration, and you're always in that kind of mood, celebration, and your mind is gone more because you're tired. But I think you're realizing that you are a World Cup winner maybe when you restart doing your job in your club. After short holidays, you have to restart, to re-prepare and to get fit mentally and physically. And this is a big goal because, after such a long time, 4 weeks tournament, 2 to 3 weeks preparation, it's a long time, for a player to relax after the tournament, to get energy back. But in '91, for example, we've been in the UEFA Cup final with AS Roma against Inter. We won the Italian Cup with Roma.
And you scored in the final?
So nobody was so tired, But it's fantastic. The worst thing is then when you are playing the next World Cup, like I did in America, when you are the defender, and we did very bad, in the States, and you have all that pressure on your shoulder.
But do you think that's because obviously Germany became unified? So you had East and West. So you guys didn't really know each other from an international level, did you?
Yeah, but on the international level, I mean, if you go back to '94 in the States, on the pitch, who was playing from East Germany? Matthias Sammer.
Yeah, true.
He was the only one. There was not a big move that a lot of former East German players did play as a starter.
Did you play at Euro '92 as well? Were you at Euro?
No, I was banned.
You were banned.
red card against Wales. You
Right.
don't remember?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, last qualification match in Wales, in Cardiff. Red card, 5 matches banned.
5. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I didn't remember that for some reason. No.
Yeah.
I bet you're glad you missed that one. You didn't want to lose another final, did you? Well, I mean, let's be fair. That German squad of 90, you go from 86 all the way to 92. It was just full of incredible footballers. And
yeah,
you were talking about winning this Italian Cup with Roma. When you've won the World Cup, this is what I always wanted to ask a World Cup winner. When you've won the World Cup, what is there left to win? Do you know what I mean? You've won the biggest prize in international football. Do you lose a little bit of fire? Do you lose that motivation a little bit? No? Or does it make you hungrier?
No, look, you have to understand one thing. Playing in the national team, has nothing to do with playing in your home team. So coming back, after a short vacation, we had also maybe more responsibility because the expectation was bigger than before, because the people were saying, oh, look, AS Roma, they got 2 World Cup winners on the pitch. So the pressure was increasing, not decreasing. The expectation.
It's got like a target on your back.
Not target, but the expectation was growing because the people were saying, "Oh, they have 2 World Cup winners on the pitch. They have to do well and all that stuff."
Yeah.
So for us, on that level, they are not counting the good matches; they are counting the bad matches.
I guess that means that all the achievements that Messi has got under his belt just makes him even more of a phenomenal footballer because he's continued being successful despite having that expectation. It's almost as if he's leveled up every time.
Yeah, of course. I mean you have your own expectation as a player, and then you have your team expectation, and you have a contract with your club and you have to do your job. So you cannot lay back and say, oh, listen guys, now I'm on a good mood, I'm a World Cup winner and I'm doing now a bit slowly. It's not working like that.
Yeah. So what would you say?
And in Germany, for example, the expectation of the German football fans here in our country about the national team, it's always, okay, we expect that you reach the semi-final. That's the minimum of expectation.
That's fair enough. I wouldn't expect anything else. I wouldn't expect anything else, But, you went into the tournament, this European Championships. I think the last time Germany won a tournament was, 2014? Was it World Cup? 2014? Yeah. So that's still a long time for Germany, even though it was only you had the 2014, you had 2016 Euros, then you had 2018 World Cup, and then obviously, so it's like 3 tournaments.
Yeah.
Then that's 3 tournaments too many for Germany, But it's almost as if it's going to be a massive restructure now, isn't it? Because it's a big job for Hansi Flick, isn't it?
I think, first of all, we have to consider that a lot of nations like England, for example, they did well in the junior teams, and they passed us like a train, but a fast train, not a slow train. So it will take some years for me, maybe 10 years or more, to come back on that level. That's my personal opinion, because we need first of all, we had always in the past good goalkeepers. If Neuer is not playing anymore, we don't have a lack of goalkeepers in the German national team.
What about Ter Stegen though? Ter
Stegen is a great goalkeeper for me. Great. So we don't have any problems to replace Neuer. If he says maybe one day, okay, it's over because I'm too old. But we don't have any more world-class central defender. We don't have world-class fullbacks. We don't have world-class strikers. So without having that crucial positions in the center, on the side, and in front, it's difficult to perform on a world-class level, and it will take time. Maybe now our federation or our national team, maybe we have now to decrease the expectation, saying, okay, we need time now to develop something, get a new head coach, Hansi Flick, and he needs also time. We cannot expect something special from him, because we know the players. There will be no big surprise, when the qualification for the World Cup is starting in September, I believe.
Yeah.
So we need time. We have to support Hansi Flick, and then let's see what's going on.
Absolutely. Well, look, one more question before I let you leave, because I appreciate your time and thank you for joining us on the podcast. I know you had to spell Bayern München, and I think it was under Jupp Heynckes, if I'm not mistaken, and that was a bit of a disastrous campaign. I think there was 3 managers or 3 head coaches during that season, if I'm not mistaken. I think, was that around about the FC Hollywood time when Trapattoni came in afterwards? It
was a bit like that. In one season, 3 managers. Looks like Hollywood time. It was like Hollywood time.
Exactly. But biggest club in Germany.
But now Bayern is the biggest club in Germany, and let's say the league, it's a bit boring, because I don't know, 8 or 9 times in a row now they won the national league, and there is no real competitor. That's not good for the league. That's not good for the national team. So we have a lot of discussion about salary caps and getting investors in the league. But we have let's say people saying, okay, we are more traditional. We don't like to see any investors here in Germany. But without money, what do you expect? Without money, it's not possible, because Bayern Munich, it's too far away financially. From Leipzig, from Dortmund, and also from who else?
Well, you got even Hertha Berlin, or a decent team. Wolfsburg, Werder Bremen.
Werder Bremen is second league now.
Well, there you go.
Relegated.
They're a huge club. So Mönchengladbach.
Yeah, Bayern is too far away. That's the problem. Too far away.
Yeah, but you know what? I think you're right. It will take a big investor, but the way that things are working right now with the likes of, you mentioned Dortmund, who are selling players, they can bring in the money, but the problem is you can sell Haaland, you can sell Sancho, but then it's like you're starting again, finding another youngster, develop them, and then they get sold. So then you sign another. It's going to happen time and time again. But
I mean, if Dortmund, for example, wants to be a real competitor, they should maybe change their strategy to keep people like Sancho, to keep people like Haaland, to keep the players with huge potential, And maybe sometimes to sell 1 or maybe 2, but they're always selling the best pieces. So
true, but Bayern don't tend to spend massively these days, do they? I can't remember the last time they made
They did not. The biggest investment was made on the central defender on
Upamecano.
And they announced that they will not do any investments this season anymore.
There you go. So I guess that gives other clubs hope. But if you stop Lewandowski from scoring, then you have a chance.
Yeah, we will see. On Friday, the Bundesliga is starting a new season. Maybe there are some surprises, but I don't believe that the Bayern will not win.
Wow! Even with a new manager, wow! Well, Thomas, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Before I let you go, is there anything that you'd like to promote? Any social media, any websites, anything like that?
No. I hope in Germany, that we get back to see full capacity in the stadium. Because we have 10%.
We need fans. We need fans.
Because football without fans is very sad.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Thomas Berthold, World Cup winner on No Trophtes podcast. That's it for another episode. We'll be back very, very soon. As I said, hit that like button, subscribe, tell your NOUNA. So until next time, I'm Michelle Lacamo, and Auf Wiedersehen, guys.